This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. If you've followed my channel for a few years now, you know I've been talking about why there's an obsession with superheroes, why it's become such a big thing, why they started doing this with the advent of television and comic books, with, Superman and Batman and Spider-Man, and now we see all of these things. It's just gotten so ridiculous. We see, Ant-Man. I mean, people are going to pay money to see this stuff, right? Guardians of the Galaxy. All of these films, there's a reason for it. And that's the mindset you have to have in life. You have to see the why. Why are they constantly doing this? Now, people go, oh, because everybody loves superhero movies, right? Which isn't true because there's people like me and I think they're embarrassing. But you have to say, well, why are we just seeing it over and over again? The common person will say, well, that's because people pay good money to see it. They want to see it. No. The repetition and the conditioning has made people become fans of these things. It's like Star Wars and Superman. They've made them become obsessed with it. But the reasoning behind it, and we're seeing it more and more now, is transhumanism. And what's funny about all this stuff is that obviously when you talk about the mark of the beast, the microchip, transhumanism, is how near it all is. I've covered obviously a lot of these places that are implementing microchips at work just so somebody doesn't have to use a key card. They could just swipe their wrist. And they are making people more and more prepared for this stuff, right? You have the Amazon store where all you got to do is go in, you could take what you want, and it automatically will go to your phone. Well, eventually this will be in your wrist, right? And this is what the Bible talks about in the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 17. And the second beast required all people, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead, so that no one could buy or sell unless he had the mark, the name of the beast, or the number of its name. Here is a call for wisdom. Let the one who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and that number is 666. So take a look. Now, so let me show you where I'm going here. At this new commercial for Apple, which is Unleashing the Beast. That's what they're even calling this brand campaign. It's called Apple Unleash the Beast. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, how obvious it is, right? It's all right in front of our faces. But check this out. The A11 Bionic chip on iPhone X. Okay? So first you might say, well, what does bionic mean, right? What's a bionic chip? Well, the definition of bionic is having artificial body parts, especially electromechanical ones, right? And that's another reason that you see a lot of this stuff with, poor veterans who come back and obviously they get, they'll get a new leg or something like that. And I'm not saying that makes them, my point being is that you see a lot of promotion of this stuff. And there's athletics they're putting on television with people with, mechanical arms and things like that. That's, of course, it's a feel-good thing they try to make it seem as, but they also want people to be ready to take this type of technology and computers and all this stuff into their bodies. So the bionic chip, right? A commercial where a guy, is walking down the streets and suddenly he becomes a superhero. Right? He's texting faster than ever before. This is obviously going to have the 5G technology involvement with it. You see Gremlins, I believe they're Gremlins from the movie Gremlins, going after him. And he suddenly becomes a superhero thanks to this chip that he has. Right? And now this is a chip for gaming, but this is how the mind control works. This is how they do it. This is the point of all this stuff. The superheroes, the gaming, the technology, to prepare people for it, to make them feel safe, to make it fun. So people enjoy it. They obsess over these pointless things and these pointless devices. So now he's fighting crime and suddenly you see, his wrist light up, right? I mean, you can't make it up. And suddenly, he's got some type of superpower now because he has this bionic chip, wink, wink, which, yes, they're saying is your phone, but you have to look at it and say, look at the transition that they're trying to make here because it's going to go from phone to in your body. And you might go, that's crazy. That's never going to happen. It's already happening. And guess what? The people are going to be demanding it, begging for it. Oh my goodness. Can you believe it? I won't have to carry my phone anymore. Everything I do could be through technology inside my body. I can answer the phone without having a phone. right? I could swipe my wrist at the airport. I don't need a passport. I don't need a license. I don't need this. And everyone will go, oh, it's so simple. It's so easy. It's a better way to live. Society has evolved. And these people will be taking the mark of the beast openly and willingly. And that's why you see in this commercial the superhero strength that he now has. Oh, he's demolishing the character. Oh, it's the next big thing, the bionic chip on iPhone X. And all one has to do is really put one and one together, right? Again, for those who don't understand about the superhero stuff, for those who don't understand how they push for everybody to be, think about the sayings that they have out there, right? Think about the, things about, oh, becoming a better you and all this stuff that makes no sense. I always talk about these sayings, right? Become a better you, or be yourself. Like, what do you mean be myself? Who else would I be if I wasn't myself? But the funny part and the ironic part is all these people out there aren't themselves. They're all brainwashed because everything that they talk about and the things that they're, are all based off of the mind control programming that goes on in everyday life, right? But even like, mainstream sites, which, is fake news garbage, but like CNN, right? They push this stuff. What would it take to become a real life superhero, right? What would it take? They inspire inspiration and their strength. And CNN spoke to experts in the field to learn the science behind a few of the superheroes featured in the next installment of the Marvel movie. So they start talking about the technology used, right? And it says, what if you were bitten by a radioactive spider? This is technology, the safest way to become a superhero. Technology, technology, technology. And that is the reason for it, right? I mean, it sounds crazy, probably not to you guys who listen to my channel, but I know it sounds crazy to the people out there. But really, if you just sit back and think about it, I'm not saying, I'm not attacking anybody who's into these movies and stuff like that. I understand how mind control works. There's certain things that people are affected by that they grew up watching. It's hard to break the control. Like I've said a million times, I grew up playing sports, watching sports, still, like to play sports. Doesn't make me, Satanist or something like that. But think about the superhero programming and the mindset of the people out there who literally like dress up and go to these events. And then they keep pushing this stuff, through mainstream news about what if you could become one? Would you take that type of technology? And then they show you how the technology can be used, right? And a lot of these characters have, superhero powers, right? And they go, what would your superpower be? And it's like month after month. There's certain movies that they just keep releasing. And you can see the agenda behind it, right? They release these horror movies about demonic possession. Almost every month there's a movie about demonic possession, right? But everybody out there thinks demonic possession isn't real because they're desensitized and they're clueless, right? Why do you think they're releasing this stuff? To desensitize people from the truth. Then what else gets released every month? A movie about alien invasions. More mind control propaganda. Then what do they release the next month? A movie about a superhero. Right? These are the main forms and focuses of mind control. And then what they do is they keep remaking these same movies and nobody goes, isn't the plot, to like E.T. the same as like, another alien movie? Or isn't the plot of War of the Worlds pretty much the same as Independence Day? Or, and I don't even know how many of these are. Like Cloverfield is one, I think. I mean, there's so many, right? And nobody goes, how come the plot is the same? Shouldn't they change the plot? I mean, can we get something new here? Nobody can think of anything new. And then there's a bunch of kids who graduate college who think they're going to become screenwriters who don't know about the New World Order. They don't know about the Control, the Cabal, the secret societies, or any of that stuff. And they actually write stuff that's nothing like what you see in Hollywood because they're like, oh, I've got creative ideas. I guess nobody else out there has them. No, plenty of people do. You're just not allowed to get those creative ideas in there because they have the mind control down to a T and it's working on the masses. So why would they change any of it? Right? They wouldn't want anything in there that's, that's going to not program people. So again, this is how they do it. This is how they transition people through mind control. And that's what this bionic chip is, right? Think about it. Now they're going to start using the word chip more and more. Oh, the bionic chip. Ooh, I got to get that for my iPhone X, right? Antichrist X. Got to get that bionic chip, right? And sooner or later, it's just going to start and evolve into, you can get Apple has developed a chip that you can put inside your body. It'll take steps still. People will still be weary at first, but like I've said a million times, they'll throw out, The Kardashians will have it. People see characters on TV using it, and that's all it'll take for them to go, oh, okay. And then every news outlet will report on it almost every day and say how safe it is. At first they'll go, ooh, is it scary? And then it'll become normal. I always use the example of Facebook. Remember when Facebook first came out? For those of you who are old enough to remember, young enough, I don't know, whenever it came out, right? I think 2000-ish, maybe around that time. The reaction everybody had at first was like, how lame, right? How pathetic, how gay. That's what people would say. That's what I said. I mean, this is what everybody I knew said, right? Oh, I would never be on that. Oh, it's embarrassing. Oh, I'm posting pictures of myself and blah, blah, blah. It's stupid. Now, if you don't have Facebook, people look at you like you just got beamed off of Uranus and landed here. I mean, like, what? You don't have Facebook? Well, that's the same stuff. That's the same type of mind control. They ease you into it, and they'll ease people in with the chip through all of these techniques that they're going to use, which they know how to do. And again, it's just hilarious. And it all goes back to this superhero mindset. And that's what transhumanism is really about, right? That's what they're going to convince people why it's good to have this technology inside their bodies. It's getting scary out there, folks. But, I mean, this is the world we live in. God put us here at this time, specifically you, me, everybody out there for a reason. Right? And we're here, we're enduring, but we also need to share the information and spread the knowledge. As crazy as some of it sounds, it's the truth. And this is being revealed to us from our Father in heaven. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.